Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings, and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wilding in the stand. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gonna be our year. We're here drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring. Yeah.
What's up, Kings fans? Welcome back to Royal Rebounds, the Sacramento Kings YouTube channel for fans, by fans. The Kings win tonight 106-95 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you're a Kings fan, make sure you smash up that like button and hit that subscribe button. We are live after every single Kings game. Calvin, should I hit him with the video?
Oh, hit it.
The Kings won, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, the Kings won, yeah. The Sacramento Kings, oh, yeah, the Kings won, yeah. Fox is so fast. Sabanas is so strong, yeah. Coach Mike is so smart, yeah. They are the playoff bound, yeah.
Well, there you have it. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully you are having a fantastic Friday. I know I am. Calvin, how are you, bud?
Oh, man, I'm having a great Friday as well. Chain gang, beam is lit. As Matt Barnes likes to say, light that thing. I don't know if he's talking about the beam or something else, but probably both. Kings win.
Kings win.
Light the beam!
Light the beam. The beam is lit. Man, it feels so good. It feels so good. But welcome in, everybody. Shout out to everybody here in the chat. I love my life. Tito, Brian, Alfie Man, PK, Matthew, Jim, Edward, Progressive G, welcome in, everybody. Callum's here. We got John, Lane, Dennis, the bouncer. Welcome in, everybody, and Jeff the lefty. Don't want to forget about Jeff. But welcome in, everybody. It's official. The Kings win 106-95. They beat the team with the best defensive rating in the NBA. They beat the team with the best home record in the NBA. No Donovan Mitchell tonight for the Cavs. No De'Aaron Fox. No Terrence Davis for the Sacramento Kings. No problem. Kings win. What an incredible game. Calvin, I'm feeling much better after this win because I have a couple bones to pick with some TV providers, which I'll talk about here in a second. Yeah. But give me your first overall thoughts here on the victory.
Well, I think you just look at this game coming off of a tough loss in Milwaukee against a really good team where they didn't execute in the fourth quarter. Milwaukee, team with a championship pedigree, turned things up a notch in the fourth quarter and took that game away from Sacramento, which was a game that the Kings were in a position to win for basically, the entire three quarters before that. To have this type of performance coming out the very next time, still on the road, again against a really good team, as you mentioned, best home record in the league, best defense in the NBA, got off to a really good start. Cleveland clawed their way back into it, forced the Kings into some sloppy play there in the second and third quarters, but then you're down, 8 with about 5 minutes to go. You're thinking, I don't know, this looks exactly like how the Milwaukee game went when they basically just took the game from Sacramento. And the Kings completely flipped the script without De'Aaron Fox. In the broad picture, the big picture, grand scheme of things, this is just another example of how the Kings are improving as a team. They're finding ways to win games against teams that you might not even expect them to beat. So this is all, I think, really, really positive. You could hear how happy Mike Brown was in his post-game press conference after this one, coming back to Cleveland, saying he challenged these guys to come out tonight and basically do everything that we didn't do in Milwaukee, and they did it.
Yeah, they did. Shout out to Neil here in the chat. Also, Brian and Alfie Man talking about blacked out games. I might as well just get this rant over with because it's definitely been bothering me But I am not happy with YouTube. I'm not happy with YouTube TV. It's a bunch of bullshit, honestly. It really is. This is the first game of the year that I actually had to listen to on the radio because I was not able to watch live. So I'm catching highlights on YouTube, highlights on Twitter, and I'm listening to the game on the radio. So I was definitely involved in this game. And Calvin, I have to tell you, if you're listening to a game on the radio, which is like on your phone, and you're not watching the game, especially a game like this, it makes it much easier to pace around your house. I probably did 10 laps around my little house here, just listening to the game, trying to figure out exactly, what happened. But hey, I'm pissed, dude. YouTube TV blacked out the game. I got an error message. I try and watch it, and it says you are not in the local area, so you're not able to watch this game. Shout out to everybody that knows I'm not in the local area. So I'm not able to do that. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to log into my computer because I have NBA League Pass. So I turn on NBA League Pass. I click on the game, and it says you are you are in the local area. So you are unable to watch it on League Pass. It's blacked out. So I'm pissed, dude. I don't know what the hell is going on. Apparently I'm in the local area. I'm not in the local area. Either way, I had to watch this game on the radio. I have it recorded, and I'm going to rewatch this entire game after the stream here. But, I watched highlights. I listened to it on the radio, and I was able to watch some highlights during the game as well. But, yeah, Pika House, YouTube TV is a bunch of bullshit. I'm just laying that right there, Calvin.
Yeah, man, I'm not happy with it either, for sure. It was incredibly frustrating to come home from work. I knew that the game was close, and I was trying to get it on so I could see the end of it, and it just kept hitting me with the playback error message every time. Very, very frustrating. YouTube needs to get it together because the Kings are a good team now, so this is like primetime television that we're missing here.
Yeah, we need to be on some nationally televised games, dude. Just scrap the Lakers, take them off, replace them with Kings games, because we need to be watching all these games on prime time. The most frustrating thing is I had to listen to the Cavs radio station, which was the worst part. Yeah. So I had to listen to their Homer fans talking about how good they used to be when they had LeBron James. No, I'm just kidding. This Cavs team is actually a fantastic team. I think they have everything that they need. Maybe it's a year or two early for them, but I like Donovan Mitchell a lot, who is not available for them. I love all the bigs on this team. But hey, the Kings are 2-0 against this Cavaliers team. So obviously the Kings are a better team than the Cavaliers. But shout out to everyone that's just joining in right now. I see DJ is here, Jeremiah, NV, Brian, Paralux Surveying and Realty. Welcome in, everybody. Nate, I see you here, Ninja Style. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully you had a wonderful Friday, and hopefully most of you guys, Jim, were at least able to watch the game. Shout out to Gothan here as well. Let's go ahead here and dive into the box score. What's up, Lane? So I'm going to say it again, Calvin. I'm going to keep saying it, dude. Kings win 106-95. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they move to 14-10 on the season. Calvin, we've been talking about how tough this road trip is. So far, we split the games. We're 1-1 in this tough 6-game Eastern Conference road trip. So definitely some positives you can take from that. As far as the Kings players going, and actually, Calvin, before I even jump in here, who's the best player on this Kings team right now? Is it Sabonis? Is it Fox? Is it Keegan? Is it Malik Monk? Who's the best player on this team?
Well, right now it's got to be Sabonis. The way that he's played, given how much that he does for this team, I'm still team De'Aaron Fox. I'm team both of them, but I've been team De'Aaron Fox. I'm still going to support him, but he is going through a little slump right now. He's got the foot injury, the illness, all the things added up. Sabonis has been playing at an all-star level for weeks now.
Yeah, he really has. Shout out to Derek here, Patrick. Good to see you, Moses. Welcome in. Moses says that Fubo, is it Fubo? TV shows all the games. Interesting. I'll definitely have to check that out. I haven't had any issues with YouTube TV this year, this season, I would say, until this game. So definitely frustrating. I'm going to be scrambling to figure out a better way to do it. But back here to the box score, Sabonis, a Huge game from him. They actually took a rebound away when they reviewed it, but 18 points, 18 rebounds for him, 6 assists in 37 minutes, 4 personal fouls for him in this game, 20 big points for Harrison Barnes in 36 minutes, 18 points, Calvin, 18 points for the rookie Keegan Murray, 6 of 8 from three-point range. This dude was stroking it. He had 3 straight threes in the first quarter, and the Kings were actually 6 of 6 from three-point range.
4 straight, I think.
To start this game. So, yeah, 4 straight. So, huge game for Keegan Murray. Good to see him getting comfortable. Davion Mitchell, 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists in the start, and some incredible defense. Incredible defense by him. Calvin, this is the second game this year where the Kings have held their opponent under 100 points. They almost held another team just the other night under 100, so almost 3 straight games here. But great job, great work by Davion Mitchell. And Calvin, you said this was a trap game, but Donovan Mitchell didn't make it in this game, so they're making it a lot easier on me. So not going to be a lot of slip-ups tonight from me. Davion Mitchell was the best Mitchell out on the floor tonight. That is for sure. Off the bench, Trey Lyles, 5 points in 17 minutes, 6 points for Metu, including a really cool alley-oop from Matthew Dellavedova. KZ was out there for 4 minutes, 0 points for him tonight, 3 points for Dellavedova, 4 assists, including 2 different alley-oops, 1 to Metu, 1 to Malik Monk, an amazing reverse alley-oop for him, which was huge, and 9 points for my guy Malik. 4 of 8 from the field, only 1 of 5 from three-point range, something he needs to get back on. But an overall amazing performance from the Sacramento Kings. Almost all 5 starters are in double figures. Just an absolute wonderful win. As far as the Cleveland Cavaliers, 16 points for Evan Mobley, 19 for Garland, and 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists for Karis LeVert in his start over Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell. Calvin, anything else? And I might as well say Cedi Osman, Cedi, however you want to pronounce it. I hear it. It's different every single week. 17 big points for him off the bench in 35 minutes. Calvin, anything else that really stuck out for you here in the box score?
I mean, not particularly. Just again, the Kings, you knew that it needed to be a balanced attack tonight without De'Aaron Fox and Terrence Davis in the lineup. I said the bench was going to have to be big. Nobody really went off on the Kings bench, but they got more production across the board than they did against Milwaukee. So that definitely helped. And Kevin Huerter came alive late. It was just a team win from top to bottom. Everybody contributed.
I think I forgot about Kevin, so I cannot forget about Kevin Huerter. He definitely Huerter tonight. 19 points for him, 5 rebounds and 2 assists, 3 threes for Kevin Huerter, doing his thing. As far as the team stats go, give me 1 second here. It's not letting me click on the team stats. There we go. So as far as the team stats go, 53% from the field for the Kings as opposed to 43 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's a tongue twister there. But the Kings shot 48.5% from three-point range as opposed to only 33 for the Cavaliers. So big numbers there. The Kings shot incredibly well in this game, except from the free throw line, only 62%. One thing that I definitely circled on this game was the Kings needed to get to the free throw line, try and get these bigs into foul trouble and get free throws. Sabonis took a ton of free throws in this game, especially earlier on, but they did not capitalize on those. Only 20 of 32 from free throws tonight. So I definitely like to see that number come up a little bit. It seems like that's kind of been a trending topic, Calvin, over the past couple games, as the Kings have kind of let things slide a little bit at the free throw line, but they did have 10 more attempts than Cleveland, so I like to see that. I like to see the aggressiveness. 38 to 36 on the rebounding numbers. Obviously, huge night by Sabonis, which helps those rebounding numbers. And then assists-wise, we talked about only 19 assists was a season low in the last game for the Sacramento Kings. They only had 21 assists tonight, but they were able to get it done. 11 steals for them tonight, and 19 total turnovers. A bunch of those came early in the fourth quarter. They were able to overcome that and get the victory here. And then also the Cavs won the points in the paint category, 44-32. If you have not, or you did not get a chance to watch the game tonight, obviously the biggest quarter in this game was the fourth quarter. The Kings were able to storm back. They closed out this game on a 19-0. That's right, 19-0 run. The Cavaliers did not score in the last 4 minutes in 54 seconds. That's right. They had 95 points with 4 minutes and 54 seconds left in this game. They did not score a single point in that final, while the Kings went on a 19-0 run to close out the game. Now, that was absolutely huge. Calvin, give me your thoughts. Like, what does it take to go on a run like that?
Well, it takes everybody being on the same page. It takes, obviously, a lot of attention to detail. You obviously have to take really good care of the basketball to go on a 19-0 run. You can't really make any type of mistakes to do something like that. And to close out a game, too. I mean, coming from down 8 to all of a sudden roaring back up like that, execution is obviously paramount there. And again, attention to detail. You know, if you listen to Harrison Barnes after the game, he's talked about two things really being the huge focus coming into this game and really for the whole road trip. Rebounding. We talked a lot about rebounding after the loss to Milwaukee, right? Kings win the rebound battle today against a big team that has good rebounders. Only 8 offensive rebounds given up as opposed to, I think it was 17 in Milwaukee. And then being really physical right from the get-go, physical on-ball defense. The Cavs, have a great backcourt even without Donovan Mitchell. Karis LeVert is a really, really fine player. Those guys are incredibly hard to guard one-on-one, especially when you factor in coming off of screens. You've got to be very, very on the same page as a team, and the Kings were to close this game out. And again, I go back to the Milwaukee game, the way that game finished, Milwaukee just basically taking it and ripping it away from Sacramento. To have that kind of ability to bounce back mentally in a game like this again against a really good team, that's a sign of, just like Mike Brown said in his press conference, a sign that you've got yourself a good team, a team that stays focused, is able to put tough games behind them, come out, battle back against another really good team, and this time finish it off.
Yeah. I mean, just to think about the fact that they were able to flip the script on the best defensive team in the NBA and be the best defensive team for the last almost 5 minutes of this game. The Kings really, really did that. Do you think that this had anything to do with the fact that Davion was out there, played 33 minutes tonight? De'Aaron Fox, we've been raving about his improvements on defense this season. However, the dude has been a completely different guy in the past couple weeks, right? We talk about the flu that he had, the foot injury that he had. Those were definitely slowing him down. So nothing against De'Aaron Fox here, but, taking him out, giving him some rest to heal up, and putting Davion Mitchell out there, I think had a huge defensive impact on this game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the second half, Davion really did a good job on Darius Garland, who got going there in the second quarter. And that's a guy that if he gets hot, he could go for 50 very easily with how well he can shoot the ball, plus his ability to get to the basket. Great finisher, float game is on point always. So he's a really, really talented player. And Davion did a phenomenal job on him, just like he always does. I think you more praise Davion than say it was anything to do with De'Aaron. I think that De'Aaron's defense has been really good this season, and even through this slump where he's been hurt or sick, he still has played really hard and really effectively on the defensive end. So that's all, again, another positive to take away here. But we know Davion. This is what he does. He's coming along, still a work in progress on offense, but he's already a big-time player on defense. So if you play him any type of big minutes, that's the type of effort that you're going to get out of him. And, of course, it's going to go a long way towards your team getting the win.
Shout out to Tom here for joining in. Jesus is back. Welcome in. NV says Kings going to win a ring this year. I like it. I like the attitude. Also, Lydia. Welcome in, Lydia. Good to see you here. Steven said Calvin's background needs a unicorn and it's perfect. Steven, Calvin is the unicorn, dude. I think it's already perfect. He's got the chain on, Calvin. Let's get a little jingle, dude. Can we see the chain? Can we see it move a little bit?
Yeah, man. We can see the chain. Absolutely. You want to see this right here? Michigan, go blue, baby.
That's funny. If you have not been paying attention, like the Sacramento Kings have, they've been watching our channel, Calvin. They've been paying attention to us. And they're trying to steal our ideas. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Kings introduced the defensive player of the game chain tonight. Domantas Sabonis won that chain. Calvin, are you guys twins?
We are twins. In fact, he's just about almost a foot taller than me, and weighs a lot more and speaks more languages than I do. But yeah, we are twins.
Oh, that's funny. Good to see them doing more fun things. Obviously, we all love the beam. I like the chain idea as well. We've been rocking that here on the channel all season long. So it's good to see the Kings doing it as well. But Calvin, you know what I'm missing?
I'm telling you,
cowbell.
fellas, you're going to want that cowbell.
I had to hold it there for a second. Ba-bam, ba-bam. And we got
Guess
confetti
what?
today, too.
I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Yeah, dude, we can get the confetti going. Why not? We'll have some confetti here. Kings win, dude. 106-95 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. They might want to think about bringing in LeBron James after this game. If they want to have any chance of being a good basketball team this year, because they're losing to the Sacramento Kings. It's feeling great. It's feeling really, really good. Tom says Omaha loves the Kings. That's great. That's great, Tom. It's funny. I was on a Twitter space after the game while I was watching some more highlights and getting ready here. And people were talking about, guys, you know what we need to start worrying about? We need to start worrying about bandwagon fans from all over the place coming in here. We got to be careful. We got to look around and know who the true fans are and all that. And then we had some speakers on there that are like, hey, welcome anybody who wants to be a Kings fan. We don't care if you know anything about basketball or not. We need more fans. So definitely funny. Calvin, you and I have been talking about that for the past couple of weeks, right? As we're going to start to see all these bandwagon fans kind of rush in here. Hey, you can hook your bandwagon to my horse any day if you want to root for the Sacramento Kings, because
all publicity is good publicity. There is no bad publicity, right? More fans, more money, more hopefully primetime games, not more problems.
Hey, Calvin, I'm feeling like maybe looking at the standings here a little bit, like I had a rough Friday here. It was windier than normal. I didn't want to go to the beach today because I was afraid I was going to get sandblasted. So I stayed home inside.
You stayed home for good reason. It was tough out there.
Yeah, I know. You're walking around the pool.
I had like 10 drinks blow off in my tray today.
So yeah, Hawaii sucks, as Lane says. But yeah, so I was staying inside today. Then I try and watch the Kings game and it's blacked out. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Lydia needs more cowbell, Calvin. It's actually cowbell, CALBELL. Cowbell is what we need.
Cowbell.
But let's look at these standings.
Are you saying you want to put a bell on me?
Standings, Calvin. The Kings are in 5th place at 14-10. They're only one win back from the Denver Nuggets. And hey, we are just holding water and staying above an incredible Utah Jazz team. How are you feeling about these standings? How are you feeling about these?
I'm feeling a little nervous, man. My hair is in jeopardy here.
Dude, you got to remind me, bro. I can't remember that bet, dude. I make too many different stupid bets.
I wish I could remember who it was in the chat that made the bet with me. I can't, and I apologize if you're in here right now. Raise your hand, shout out in the chat if it was you, but somebody challenged me to, if the Kings finish 5th or better in the Western Conference this year, I have to shave my head.
I think it was Gothen. Was it Gothen?
I
Oh,
don't
we got
think
more
it was.
confetti
Gothen,
going.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it was. I thought it was somebody else. Anyways, the bet still stands. We'll do a live show on YouTube of me shaving my head when the Kings finish 5th or better.
Yeah, we're going straight bald, right? We're doing shaving cream.
No, we are not going
We're
straight bald. That
waxing.
was a stipulation we made right away. No waxing. No, I'm not going to be Charlie Villanueva out here.
I also made a prediction a couple weeks ago. It was actually on Basketball at the Bar during our late night. My drunk take was the Kings were going to be top 4 in the Western Conference standings by the NBA trade deadline. So that prediction is still in play as well. Definitely interesting. You know, this road trip we've been talking about for a while now, right? A 6-game road trip, a bunch of tough teams. It's getting less and less scarier after each game here, right? Obviously, the Kings lost to the Bucks, but I thought that they played pretty strong in that game until the end. This game, they were up early in this game. They were up 15. They destroyed the lead. It was tied at halftime. Then they go on this huge 19-0 run to close out the game. The Kings are just finding different ways to win basketball games. It kind of reminds me of the old school Raiders, right? The quote, just win, baby. That's exactly what this Kings team is doing. It doesn't matter if they're playing against big teams, small teams, good teams, bad teams. Like, they're playing up and down to teams, and then they're finding out ways to make things work there at the end. I got to give credit. Honestly, like, I love what GM Monty has done for this team. Definitely, re-sign him. He needs a new contract. And I love all the players that he brought in and everything like that. But honestly, what it comes down to in a lot of these situations for me is coaching. Coach Brown, he is a coach of the year, has coached many, many good players. He's got rings, was just with the Golden State Warriors. Honestly, Calvin, that's probably the reason why the Warriors aren't that good this year, right? Is they lost Mike Brown, and he brought all those wins over to the Sacramento Kings. I want to look at the standings one more time because another thing I hadn't really pointed out yet here in the standings is not only are the Kings the 5th seed in the Western Conference, but Calvin, they are officially the best team in California. How long has it been since the Kings were better than the Warriors, better than the Lakers, better than the Clippers? The Kings are the best team in California currently, and that feels pretty
It's been like
good.
that for a while, too.
Pretty good. Alfie Man says, don't do it, Calvin. Alfie, I hope you're not rooting for the Kings to lose some basketball games here because Calvin's...
Trust me, I don't want to do it.
He's binded by the bet, dude. Calvin's a man of his word, dude. All he has is... what do you have, Calvin?
All
Your balls and your word, right? And you
Yep.
don't break them for nobody. I wish I had that clip queued up. Anyways, give me some more cowbell, dude. Let's get some more cowbell going. All right, welcome in, everybody that's just joining in tonight. Welcome in. We're having fun here. We're talking about this Kings victory over the Cavaliers and how incredible it was. They did it without De'Aaron Fox and without Terrence Davis. But I need something from you guys. You know, Calvin and I are just fans. We're just here. We're having fun. We do this for fun. But we get paid in likes. So if you guys are having a good time, if you're enjoying this content, make sure to smash up that like button. We'd greatly appreciate it. Please hit that subscribe button. You can hit that notification cowbell if you want to know every time we put out a new video. And go ahead and share this with all your favorite Kings fans. The more Kings fans we can get in here, the better. Lane liked the video 5 times. That's perfectly fine, Lane. You can like it as many times as you want, but it has to be an odd number of times. So you can't like it twice or 4 times or 6 times, but 5 times is okay. 3 times, 1 time, 211 times. That is completely fine. So Calvin, we didn't even announce our King of the Night tonight, did we?
I don't believe we did.
Do you have one?
You want to go for it?
Oh, me?
I'll let you go first.
I'll go first. My King of the Night. This is a tough one, man. This is a really, really tough one. Most people are going to say Domantas Sabonis was the King of the Night, right? 18 and 18. He played great defense, had 6 assists, obviously got the chain tonight. But Calvin, I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to go with Keegan Murray. I'm giving it to the rookie. 6 of 8 shooting, 20 points. He had a block in this game, some rebounds and assists, played some great defense. So Keegan Murray is going to be my king of the night.
I think that's a good pick. Keegan definitely got off to a really, really hot start. Part of the reason why the Kings were able to get out to a comfortable lead, double digits for most of the first half. And again, you got to be really happy for him to play through the slump. He seems to have put it behind him now. Hopefully we're going to see this form of Keegan Murray or better for the rest of the year. Sabonis, of course, every night I think he could be the king of the night, but I'm also going to go in a different direction today.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Harrison Barnes as my king of the night.
Wow, the Black
20
Falcon.
points, led the team in scoring. I think he's been really instrumental for them, really ever since about the second week of the season on. He started off slow, but the guy has been rock solid as of late. Had also a huge block in this game, 5 of 9 from the floor, 7 of 10 at the free throw line. His ability to get to the foul line makes things a lot easier for the Kings. I thought he played good defense inside on guys like Evan Mobley, who are much bigger than him, and he shot the ball well from 3 today, 3-6 from downtown. So I'm going to go with Harrison Barnes as my king of the night.
I definitely agree with that. I'm giving Harrison Barnes king of the night. I'm giving Keegan Murray king of the night. I'm giving Sabonis king of the night. I'm giving Davion Mitchell king of the night for his defense. I'll give Kevin Huerter king of the night also for shooting well and hitting 19 threes in this game. What Derek's king of the night is?
The Kings won, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, the Kings won, yeah. The Sacramento Kings, oh, yeah, the Kings won, yeah. Fox is so fast. Sabonis is so strong, yeah. Coach Mike is so smart, yeah. They are the playoff bound, yeah.
Yeah, Coach Mike is smart. We know that. Sabonis is strong. Fox was not fast, or maybe Fox was super fast tonight. We didn't even see him out there on the court.
He was so fast you couldn't even see him.
Yeah, he was so fast. I see PK and Lydia want to talk a little bit here about Dellavedova. This game was probably really sweet for him, right? He is an ex-Cavalier, played with LeBron James on that roster. Nobody wanted Delly. He was kind of bouncing around different teams, different countries, trying to find a spot. He just wanted to play basketball. The Kings took a chance on him. I, for one, I'll admit when I'm wrong. It doesn't happen a lot, but I'll admit it. I thought this dude wasn't going to make it past training camp. Honestly, I thought this team had too many guards, and I didn't think he was going to make it past training camp, but he did. And he played incredibly well in this game. I know people are going to look at the box score and they're going to say he only played 16 minutes. He only had 3 points in this game. But hey, the dude was efficient, 100% from the field, 100% from 3-point range. He had 4 assists in this game and played some really, really good defense. So tell me what you saw out of Dellavedova.
Well, you admit that you're wrong. He didn't make, or thought he wasn't going to make it past training camp. I'll give myself a pat on the back because I said all the way through training camp, this dude is making the roster because of his impact on the team without even setting foot on the court. This is exactly why they picked this guy up. He's a great reserve to have in case of an injury like De'Aaron Fox's, or somebody has to miss time due to, COVID or an illness, something like that. This is a dude that you can plug into your rotation without really having played much at all throughout the course of the year. Very, very smart veteran basketball player who just knows the game. He's not going to try to do too much. He's out there making plays for others. He's always looking for Metu on those lobs to the rim. A guy that is not what he used to be maybe defensively, but still gives you the good energy, good effort, and is an extension of the coaching staff on the floor. You could see him talking to Davion a lot tonight. I think that defensively, Davion is really going to be able to learn a lot from him in terms of, this is what this guy likes to do. Try to take this away from other guys, depending on the matchup that you're getting any given night. And he's just a tenacious competitor. Again, changing the culture of this team, all of that stuff Matthew Dellavedova has in spades. So while I don't think that he's going to all of a sudden start to see extended playing time, This is why he's on this team, in case they need him to plug holes and to be an extension of the coaching staff. So it's a great pickup for Sacramento. It's really helped them. Last year, we had an ex-Cleveland Cavalier on the bench that we thought was going to be a really good leader, a guy to pump energy into the team, right, on a nightly basis. That was Tristan Thompson. That did not work out very well. This one is going much better.
Yeah, I agree. Bouncer, thank you for handing those. You can just hide them from the channel. Just hide them, dude. You don't need to delete it. Just straight hide. Yeah, hide that user from the channel. Appreciate you. But yeah, Calvin, I thought those were great points, right? It's important to note that Dellavedova does have a ring. He has played for Mike Brown before in the past, so they do have a little bit of a connection there. So I think that right there is very, very interesting. Dude, he is so smart, man. He is just so smart. His basketball IQ is extremely high. And you're right. I think that Davion Mitchell is very similar to him in that turn, but he hasn't been in the league as long. And so I think that Davion can learn a lot. But just having those two guys there on the court is really, really an extension of the coaching staff and really helps late in games, you know. I don't mean to keep bashing on Buddy Hield because I don't want to keep doing that. But, you know, there was situations last year, the year before that, where we made boneheaded plays at the end of games, and it cost us those games. I don't feel like those are going to happen with these guys on the floor. I think they're too smart. They know what they're doing. And you saw it tonight, right? The Kings basically pitched a perfect game here to end this game. They played incredibly well, and they got the victory. You know, this is a team that was down by 8 with just under 5 minutes left. We were getting kind of worried here. And then they go on this huge run. They win this game, but Calvin, they didn't win this game by 2-3 points, a last-second shot or anything like that. They won this game by 11, and they dominated the last couple minutes of this game. So I knew it was over with a couple minutes left, which feels great, and it's probably really, really good for my heart because, you know me, Calvin, I get high, I get low, and it's just an emotional roller coaster for me watching these games. And even listening to them on the radio, like I said, I was doing laps around my house. My heartbeat was going crazy. So, you know, definitely it feels good to beat the damn Cavs, as PK says.
We're going to have like a live camera on you during the Kings' first playoff game just to see what you do. Like, I think that's going to be must-see TV, just like the Kings being in the playoffs.
When we get the new studio, we'll put up a camera in the studio of watching us during the game, and then we'll have highlights of the Kings game and then highlights of us in our reactions of what happens. Oh man, that feels great. It feels so good. You want to talk about? Oh, Charles says good night, watching from the Bahamas. Outstanding stream, go Cleveland.
Oh, wow.
Charles, hopefully you're there covering the FTX situation and what's going on, because I'm curious what's going on in the Bahamas with Sam Bankman-Fried and all that garbage. Jesus says I look better with a hat on, so here you go, Jesus.
Bam, ask and you shall receive.
Barry will be blacked out on YouTube TV soon, hopefully, maybe one day. Maybe one day.
That's funny.
One day. Okay, Calvin. Are we ready to talk about? No, I was gonna bring something up, but I'm gonna make everybody wait a little bit here. We're on the topic of Dellavedova, and you know, I want to hear from you. Is Delly the most underrated player on this team, or is there another player? Because I feel like being a Kings fan, you see things that a lot of other people don't, right? Because nobody watches the Kings, and it's really become apparent watching ESPN now, where they have like their experts try and talk about the Kings, and it's so obvious that this guy has like not watched a Kings game in like 10 years, because you're like, what are you even talking about, dude? So obviously guys do get overlooked on this Kings roster all the time, and now that they're starting to play well, I think guys are going to be seen a little bit more. But honestly, from your perspective, you know, who do you think is the most underrated player currently on the roster?
I'm actually going to go with Kevin Huerter. That might not be a popular pick, but my reasoning is this. When Kevin was traded to this team, everybody, I think, thought it was a good move because the Kings could really use some more shooting. He was maybe thought of as a safer Buddy Hield, right? A guy that's not going to make the bonehead plays for you. He's just going to be out there shooting and stroking it all night long. And he did that right away, right? In fact, he got off to the best shooting start of his career. So he was maybe even underrated as a shooter from what everybody thought of him. But he goes through the struggles shooting, and I watch him play and just seeing how he still affects the game from all these other angles. I'll be honest, I didn't watch a ton of Atlanta Hawks games, but the games that I did watch, I didn't see him doing anywhere near the type of things, at least the volume of things that he's done on this team. I didn't think of him as much of a defender. He's not a great defender by any means, but he's much better than I thought, especially around the rim, challenging shots without fouling, contesting shots, hustling and recovering even after he gets beat. His ability to put it on the floor, him and Sabonis have developed this nice two-man game. He's able to make plays for others a little bit. So I did not think that Kevin Huerter was as good of a player as he is now that I've seen him here through the first 25 games or whatever it is in Sacramento. So I'm going to say Kevin Huerter is my most underrated player. Dellavedova, at this point, you know what you're going to get from him, right? I mean, you don't expect him to play a whole lot. He's there for the veteran leadership, but he will also do what he's asked and step up, the next man up mentality when he is called upon to come into a game. So great for the team in practice, all of that stuff. But you know what you're going to expect from getting Matthew Dellavedova at this point in his career, I think.
Yeah, I agree. This is actually a tough question, so I'm glad that I asked it to you instead of the other way around, because I could pick a few different people, right? I could say Davion,
yes,
I could say Terrence Davis. I agree with everything you said about Kevin Huerter. And honestly, I think Malik Monk is one of those guys too, right? This is a guy that's bounced around. Nobody really wanted him. He signed with the Lakers last year. Then he gets a deal with the Kings. The dude's playing incredibly well. Tom, if you're interested in some sick lids like this in Omaha, check out lids.com. You can order a bunch of really cool Kings hats on there, so definitely check that out. Don't sign up for the membership though, like I did, because then you'll end up buying like 20 hats at a time. I mean, it's good, I guess. It's good. I got plenty of hats. I do have plenty of hats, so that's very, very important. You got to support your Kings team. Calvin, do you think that they can see the beam in Cleveland?
They'll probably see it in their sleep. I mean, they've lost to them twice in a row now, right? So I think the beam is definitely on the minds of the Cleveland Cavaliers for sure, whether they can actually see it or not. Maybe they'll just start hallucinating the beam all over the place, right?
It's 4,000.
Anytime
4,
someone says
watts.
anything about Sacramento, they'll just see the boom, purple beam right in their face.
I can't wait till because like here every time, right, you get a table, you get somebody and they're like, oh, where are you from, blah blah blah, how'd you get here? And you gotta like tell people, oh, I took an airplane here, oh, I live here,
Yep.
blah blah blah,
Yep.
all this stuff. Normally when they're like, where are you from, you say Sacramento. If they're not from California, a lot of people don't even know where the hell Sacramento is, which is absolutely ridiculous in my mind. We're talking about the capital of the biggest state in the union, and people don't even know what the hell Sacramento is. I'm wondering for the day, or excited for the day, when people are like, oh, that place with the purple beam that's like launching into the sky. Yeah, I know where that place is. Honestly, Calvin, maybe they just leave the beam lit, huh? They don't even think about turning it off, or you think they should keep it only after wins?
I like it only after wins. I think it adds more of a special feel to it for sure.
Yeah, I'm just joking. It definitely is really, really good. Okay, so we've talked about the game tonight. Actually, one more thing I want to mention in this game before we move on. We've been talking about how Lydia, I see you right on cue. Lydia pops up here. Cleveland with all the pig farms everywhere. I actually spent a lot of time in Cleveland as a kid, Lydia, playing baseball because my cousin lived in Ohio. But we've had a lot of talk here about the Kings playing small ball and playing against bigger teams, right? In the chat after the last game, all we heard about was the Bucks are too big. They're too big. They're too big. Lydia has been on here, and she's been saying we need a big. We need a rim protector. We need another big to compete with these teams. Well, hey, Cleveland is probably the biggest or one of the biggest teams in the NBA. Yes, they lost Lauri Markkanen, who they had last year. Their lineup was huge, right? But the Kings were able to double down on the small ball lineup. Yes, Lyles played 17 minutes, 11 minutes for Metu, but no Len, no Holmes. A great performance out of Domantas Sabonis tonight. But the Kings were able to get the victory. Calvin, you have any thoughts on this Kings team playing small ball against bigger squads? Is this kind of something that's over with, that we don't really need to talk about before, anymore? Or is it kind of like, well, if Sabonis rebounds like he did tonight, then this small ball lineup can play with anybody?
I mean, the conversation is not going to go away. I don't think it goes away for any team. For years and years and years, it was, can a small ball team win a championship, right? And the Warriors kind of showed that it was possible. The Rockets tried it for a bunch of years. They couldn't quite get past Golden State, but they were right there with them. I think the Kings haven't won during the regular season in a long time. So it's going to be talked about as long as we go through towards this playoff run. And then if the Kings make the playoffs, and if, heaven forbid, they lose in the first round of the playoffs, all offseason it's going to be, again, do the Kings need a big man? Do they need a rim protector? Do they need that sort of thing? I don't think those questions ever go away, really. Even in Golden State, when they got James Wiseman, it was okay. He's the perfect big man to add to this team, right? They've talked about getting Dwight Howard, Al Horford. The special bigs in this league are always sought after just because it's so hard to find one of those people. So the conversation never goes away. But I will say this. I like what the Kings are doing right now. They're improving really every day. We talked so much about how good the offense is, and it's good because of the personnel that plays that style of offense. Defensively, they continue to slowly get better and work their way up in the defensive rankings. So for now, I think you keep rolling with what you've got. And again, Mike Brown talked a lot in his postgame press conference about challenging these guys to go out and rebound the basketball. You heard Harrison Barnes talk about it. That's going to be a point of emphasis for this team, no matter what, whether they add a big man or not. But if they can find a way to rebound really, really well as a team, not just Sabonis, while playing the small ball lineup, and the on-ball pressure continues to get better, I don't mess with this team right now. This is going the right way, the right direction.
Yeah, great point. I see Tom's got a question here. Also, shout out to Devontae and Fred. Welcome in, guys. Good to see you all here. Tom says, maybe playoff time, another big. Your thoughts? That's an interesting question, Tom, right? Because we all agree that playoff basketball is a little bit different than regular season basketball. Things change a little bit. But I want to ask you, Tom, did the Golden State Warriors need another big when they won their championships playing small ball? I'm not saying that the Kings are the Golden State Warriors, but we do have, I would say, Steve Kerr's protege, which is funny to say because Mike Brown's been a head coach longer than Steve Kerr has. But Mike Brown was very involved in running that small ball lineup there in Golden State. He's brought that here to Sacramento. I think I agree with you, Calvin. I don't think you mess with anything at this point. Maybe, if Keita continues playing how he does with the Stockton Kings, you eventually bring him up and integrate him in this team to maybe have another rim protector. But honestly, Sabonis, when he rebounds like this team is a really, really good basketball team. And I don't know if you really want to worry or consider messing up chemistry, making some of these other tinkers. So that's an interesting question. Lane wants to know why we don't see Metu and Sabonis play at the same time, Calvin.
Well, I think because they want Metu to play Sabonis's role. He really is used. Mike Brown is teaching him to play that style. He wants him to be the facilitating big man who, obviously he has a different skill set. He's not going to be out. You don't want him out there chucking up threes. That's why they keep him around the rim for lob threats and stuff like that. But they need somebody to be his his backup, right, in case he gets in foul trouble, or just to give him a spell. And they want to keep the offense running the same way. So that's why you don't see Alex Len and Rashawn Holmes play, because those guys aren't going to be able to do that. But I think Metu has come a really, really long way. I saw PK in the chat earlier mentioning that Metu needs some love, and he absolutely does. Like, Barry, you and I have been a fan of this guy for years now, ever since he's been on the Kings, and we've always said, man, I wish that he could just put it together, because he's got so much talent and he could really, really help this team. He's doing that. I mean, he's not having the huge outbursts on offense. He hasn't really added or developed his offensive game that much right now, but he has been instrumental in helping preserve Sabonis, keeping some fouls alive for him late in games, or giving him a rest, and being able to make sure that the number one offense in the league continues to operate at the same clip.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I see a lot of really good comments in here. Unfortunately, I can't read them all out, but I appreciate you guys, and I agree with a lot of what's being said in here. When the offense is clicking, when they're rebounding well, this is a great basketball team, and really, really hard to stop. Shout out to David here. Good to see you in, David. Ninja Style says, I know HB has been playing well as of late, but I've been hearing a rumor of HB, Holmes, and a 2023 first-round pick for DeMar DeRozan. Would you make this deal? Calvin, you and I were just talking about this. I think 2 nights ago we were talking about this. Give me your thoughts first.
I'm hesitant on this deal. I love DeMar DeRozan. Anybody who knows me knows that I really, really do love him. And I think he would be a fantastic addition to this team. But here's my concern with it. Number one, it eats up into a lot of the cap space that you're going to have going into the offseason already, with a chance to maybe even re-sign Harrison Barnes at a discount, potentially. Harrison's playing great right now. I know everybody or not everybody, but a lot of people tend to ride on the narrative of, trade him at their peak, or trade him when the value is the highest, all that stuff. Don't lose him for nothing. He's going to be a free agent this year. We know he really loves Sacramento. I think there's a strong possibility he would re-sign with Sacramento in the offseason, especially if they make the playoffs this year. And I talk a lot about Mike Brown's system on offense, right? I'm not saying that DeMar DeRozan couldn't play in this system, but what is he best at? He's best at give him the ball, get out of his way, and let him take, 5-6 dribbles to get comfortable into the right spot to get a shot off. That's not how this team plays. That's not what they excel at. That's not what makes this team so good and the number one rated offense in the NBA. Now, again, I do think that DeRozan could change the way he plays a little bit if he were to come to this team, but when you talk about taking away a player's one of their best strengths to try to fit into something else, and trading away Harrison Barnes, who's been a huge important piece for this team, veteran leader, does a lot of different things really, really well, I'm a little concerned about making that move, honestly.
Yeah, when you and I first talked about this, I'm like, wow, DeMar DeRozan could be available. He's been playing incredibly well. Maybe he could be the go-to scorer that we need at the end of games. I'm a big DeMar DeRozan fan. But I do have to say, first off, the trade idea that you suggested is not possible. And the reason why is because of the Kevin Huerter trade. We traded our first round pick in 2024. It's lottery protected. If it's not conveyed in 2024, it's conveyed in 2025 as top 12 and top 10 in 2026. According to the CBA, you cannot trade consecutive picks. So we're not allowed to trade the 2023 first round pick, and we cannot trade a first round pick until 2028 unless you were to trade, 1 through whatever the lottery protection is in 2024. That'd be the only way to trade a first round pick before 2028. So just want that to be known out there. But yeah, I'm worried about changing the chemistry on this team, which I've been talking about. I like what you said about HB and the fact that you could potentially re-sign him for a discount. He does love Sacramento. He's stuck it out here. He's re-signed once with this team. Now they're winning basketball games. Why would he want to leave, right? There's no real point in him wanting to leave. And then I also think it's important to note that DeMar DeRozan's getting old, man. What is he, 34 at this point? So he's getting older.
Is he that old?
Yeah, he's 33 or 34, something like that. So he's getting older. I'm not so sure that his timeline really, lines up with this young core of the Kings team. Maybe he'd be good this year, maybe next year, but then I think he's going to start to fall off after that point. You're going to be paying that dude a ton of money, $20+ million a season to hold on to him just for his name. I think that could end up hurting the team. So honestly, if you brought in a guy like DeMar DeRozan, I think it could do one of two things this year. It could either skyrocket this team to a really, really good team, which is possible, and screw them in the future, or it could screw them right away and mess up chemistry. So just for those reasons, I am probably steering clear of that deal. And nothing against DeMar DeRozan, because I really do like him a lot. Calvin, how old is he?
33. He is 33 years old. Born in August, so he'll be 34 next year.
Crazy, man. Makes me feel old, dude. Makes me feel old. But I mean, when he shoots it goes in. So I like that part about him. I like that part about him.
It's tough, man, because and just to be at the point where it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Kings could make a deal like that for a big time player, an all-star caliber player, that's saying something, right? Yep. But at the same time, I feel like teams, when they make deals, those types of deals, they're usually not in the Kings' position. They're not a team that is building together, trending upwards, exceeding expectations, if you will, seeming to have all this great team chemistry together. It more so, at least from my vantage point, are the teams that are underachieving, like the Chicago Bulls, for example, who are desperate to try to make a move to get back into the race or to right the ship, and make a run after the All-Star break. That's not the position the Kings are in at all.
Yep. I agree. And nothing against DeMar DeRozan here, but I just got to say, I love having guys like Harrison Barnes on the team because they do their job. They're quiet. They don't cause stirs or drama off the court or any of that stuff. And they just have like a humility to them, which I think is really, really great and something this Kings team has needed. And we got more than just HB. I think that goes for HB. I think that goes for a guy like Kevin Huerter. I think Keegan Murray is that guy. Davion Mitchell is that guy. Rashawn Holmes is that guy. We have all these selfless players. And I think that honestly is why the team chemistry is so good and why these guys get along so well is, the quiet assassins, like somebody says here. I absolutely love guys like that. Shout out to Callum here for the super chat. Thank you, Callum. We appreciate
you, sir.
That is definitely going into the beer fund. And yes, Matthew Dellavedova is a point god, and he played like one tonight. That is for sure. Somebody here in the chat, PK, wants to know how many All-Stars do we have this year, Calvin?
I'm going to go one. Domantas Sabonis.
Okay.
Fox was looking like he might be in the conversation there for a while, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, you brought up Fox, so let's talk about him. A couple more things to talk about, and then we are going to dive into the rest of this road trip. We got New York, Philadelphia, Toronto, and Detroit. So we're definitely going to talk about that before we end the show with questions. As always, shout out to Australia. But before we go in there, Calvin, let's talk a little bit about De'Aaron Fox. Obviously, he has not been playing well over the past couple weeks. Everything's down, right? The numbers are down. The efficiency's down. His speed is down. Even kind of like his body language on the court. You can tell something's bothering him, right? It was revealed yesterday that he's dealing with a nagging foot injury, an injury that forced him to miss one game. He bounced right back and started playing again. Then we heard about the Katie flu or whatever sickness he was dealing with and was kind of going around the team. He does not play in this game. I think he could be an all-star this year if he comes back and resumes to the incredible play he was playing earlier, where he's putting up 36 points and a bunch of assists and playing, great defense. I think that's all very, very possible for him. But I kind of want to hear from you where you're at with this injury. It's good to give him some time off to heal. And also, it's great that the Kings are able to get a victory here without De'Aaron Fox playing. But I just kind of want to hear where you're at here on the De'Aaron Fox injury. And when do you expect him to be back?
Man, that last part of the question, I'm not going to have an answer for, unfortunately, because first of all, it's not like there's really been a timetable given for his recovery. This is something that he's obviously been able to play through. So it's not an injury that, physically disables him from playing. And I said it after the Milwaukee game, like, this type of thing is all in De'Aaron Fox's court, right? You have obviously the doctors, team staff members that you trust to give you all the right information and the best advice for how to proceed with this sort of a thing. But he said he's been playing through it for at least a month or close to a month. So it's definitely something that is a pain management thing and a De'Aaron Fox issue that he has to decide how much he can deal with. I think they kind of all came together maybe and said, okay, it's probably best for the team and for yourself in the long run if we try to give you some days off so that you can get back to 100% sooner. But I think it's going to be a collective group where it's mostly De'Aaron telling them when he's ready to play. And hopefully it's not too long. I mean, the good news is this team has been getting better and is very deep. And they can win games without him, right? So that's an added luxury to have, and maybe we see him miss a couple more games than he would have normally because of the fact that they're in this position. But the good news is it's not something that they're super worried about, and he'll be back, at 100%, hopefully not too long from now.
Yeah, great point. De'Aaron Fox has been playing through this injury for over a month. It was reported today that he's been dealing with this for over a month. So I think it's pretty clear that whatever he's doing on the court, he's able to. Maybe it's a pain thing, but it's definitely impacting the ability for his foot to heal. I think I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Calvin. Maybe I'm rowing, maybe you're rowing, I'm not sure, but we're definitely in the same boat here with the fact that it's really going to be up to him. I'm sure he could play on Sunday if he wanted to play. And I'm sure he does want to play, right? That's what I was talking about in the last stream, right? As players want to play, they're going to try their best to be out there, and it's the coach's responsibility to kind of protect themselves from themselves, right? We saw it happen with Robert Griffin, right? When he was with the former Redskins, right? Where he wanted to be out there and it ended up impacting his career with that injury. I don't think the same thing is going to happen with De'Aaron Fox. I'm definitely not saying that, but I'm just saying it's the coach's staff's responsibility to protect the players from themselves because they're going to do whatever they can to be out there on the court. I think he gets maybe the rest of this road trip off, maybe 2, 3, 4 games off. And then I expect him to return for sure by the time they get back home. But then again, you never know because injuries can linger. Obviously, he's been dealing with it for a month already. So taking some time off and a little bit of break here should definitely help him. Calvin, I broke my foot years ago, and I just ignored it. I did exactly what you're not supposed to do. I kept playing football and running on it, and I was actually drinking because that's what made me feel good and made me able to keep walking and actually go to work. Don't try this at home. But that foot bothered me for years and years and years, Calvin. And I have to say, that was probably 11 years ago. I never got surgery. I don't have any problems with it now, but it took a long, long time, for that thing to heal. So that just goes to show, maybe taking a week off of his foot will help the chances because your feet, you use them every day, all day long. So those injuries can definitely linger. All right, couple more things to mention here. If you're just joining in, please make sure you smash up that like button and hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. Also, if you did not see, the Kings released a new chain. The defensive player of the game chain was given to Domantas Sabonis. We also have one for Calvin here. And then the last point of news to mention is that Trey Burke officially joins the Stockton Kings. What's up, Mike? Good to see you here. But Calvin, Trey Burke Did you play with him or close, or you saw him play? I thought I remember some story about you being around him. I think I watched him here at the Maui Invitational. The dude was a killer, man.
I actually did play pickup basketball with Trey Burke at the University of Michigan. Shout out, go Blue. Go Wolverines. But yeah, I was there for his first game at Michigan as a freshman. I looked to my uncle who I was sitting next to, and I said, that dude's going to be a star. And obviously the rest is history, with his time at the University of Michigan. But I've always been a big fan of Trey. He's a really nice guy as well. And it's cool to see him on the Stockton Kings. He's bounced around a lot over the years, in the NBA. But I think for a guy that had a lot of high expectations coming in, much like a Derrick Rose, very, very different story, but very high expectations coming in, either because of an injury like for Derrick Rose or just not meeting expectations for Trey Burke. Kind of people forgot about him. And then they both revitalized their careers later on. Trey had some really, really good seasons with the Dallas Mavericks, very recently. So this guy is a great shooter, microwave scorer. He could be, a needed spark plug maybe if somebody were to get hurt, knock on wood, for heaven forbid, down the line, and they need to bring him up.
Yeah, I like him a lot. The dude is still pretty young, which is surprising because I've definitely heard his name for a long time. But yeah, they're continuing to add talent down there in Stockton. And Monty's got kind of a little pool there that he can pull from. Kind of feels like my fantasy football team, Calvin. If anybody gets injured, I got people in the IR spot that I can pull out. I got bench players that can be starters. So that definitely feels good to have that. Callum's killing me here. He says, we're collecting the Treys. We just need Trey Young and Trey Murphy next.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Calvin, Jim wants to know where you are from.
Man, I feel like I'm at work, Jim. No, I'm kidding. In Hawaii, you get that question asked to you every 5 seconds, right? And I say the same thing every time. Honestly, it's a hard question for me to answer. I did grow up in Davis, California. Before that, I lived in Chicago. I was actually born in Philadelphia, and I lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan for 8 years before I moved to Hawaii. So I have been from coast to coast, literally, even beyond the coast. But I did spend most of my time in Northern California.
Yeah, and Calvin and I grew up together. We've been friends since, what is it, 5th grade or something?
5th grade.
Wow, crazy, huh? Crazy. All right, that's about it for news. Let's jump here into the schedule. We can talk about what's going on here. So shout out to Mike. Let's look here at the schedule. If you haven't been here before, these weird looking shapes that are red, these are bad. And then these funky looking lines, multiple lines that are green are good. Kings started out this season with a lot of little bad red marks here, 4 of those in a row. Then we end up getting a little bit of green here, and then a lot of green here. And hey, we had a 3-game winning streak, was just snapped by the Bucks, but we're back on it, dude. 1 in a row here against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're on this tough 6-game road trip. Next up is the New York Knicks. And hey, you guys love these times, right? You love these times. I'm watching this game at 1 p.m. on a Sunday. Gonna be drinking a beer and not going to lie. And Calvin, you're off Sunday too, right? Is it Sunday, Monday this week you're off?
I am off Sunday and Monday, so I will be drinking a beer watching the game as well.
So we will be doing an earlier stream on Sunday. We'll be available right after the game. But give us a little bit of slack there, because we're going to be having a lot of fun. Football here starts at 8 a.m. on Sundays, and this is a huge week for fantasy football. So
yes,
we might be a little loosey-goosey on Sunday. So definitely tune in for that. But Calvin, the Kings visit the New York Knicks on Sunday. The Knicks are currently 13-13. And Terrence Davis is listed as out. De'Aaron Fox is day-to-day. Obi Toppin is listed as out, which is good because there ain't no stopping Obi Toppin. You know that. Calvin, give me your thoughts on this game, and then we can jump into keys to the game.
Well, I mean, I think the Knicks are not the same quality team or level of defensive team, obviously, as Cleveland and Milwaukee. However, Tom Thibodeau is a very defensive-minded coach, just like Mike Brown, and the Knicks have been playing much better defense as of late. So this is going to be another grinded out, tough to score game. It helps if the Kings are able to knock down 3-point shots like they did today. That really is the easiest way to open up a defense, right? Kings only had 32 points in the paint today, which is a pretty low number for them. Obviously, no De'Aaron Fox. That hurts too. But when you shoot at, 48% from three or something? Let me double check that just to be sure. That is going to make things a whole lot easier for you offensively. Yeah, 48.5% from three today. So they've got to find a way to contain Julius Randle. That's going to be a tough matchup because you can't just stick Sabonis on him. They play Mitchell Robinson a lot as well, and other bigs, Jericho Sims. So it's going to be a team effort. Harrison Barnes probably gets the call, and they're going to have to double and force the ball out of his hands. And I look to another key point guard matchup with Davion probably getting the start if De'Aaron is not out again. That's going to be an interesting matchup. I heard on today's telecast that Davion said Jalen Brunson is the hardest player that he's had to guard so far in the NBA.
Wow.
Definitely did not expect that answer. But it shows the respect that he has for him, and Jalen Brunson's had a really, really good last couple of years. So trying to limit him offensively and finding a way to take Julius Randle away is going to be key in this one.
Great point. Lydia, I think it'll be a little hard to go 4-1 on a 6-game road trip, but hey, I'm not a math teacher, so I don't really know. But yeah, Calvin, I think you nailed it. Julius Randle is the guy you need to watch here, right? RJ Barrett's there. Yes, they had the big offseason acquisition at the point guard position, but honestly, Julius Randle is the guy. He's the engine that makes this team run. And I think you definitely need to clamp down on him and figure out a way to slow him down. Tom Thibodeau loves to play defense, right? This is a defensive-oriented game. So it'll be interesting to see, right? Like, do the Kings play up? Do they play down to this team? Do they play up to this team? Is this going to turn into, a defensive fight here? Or are the Kings just going to shoot the ball extremely well like they did tonight and blow the Knicks out, and the Knicks are going to be struggling to try and keep up? So definitely something to keep track of. Lydia, I'm just joking with you. We appreciate you as always. Calvin, give me your keys to the game here.
Well, I think my keys to the game, again, number one, this whole road trip, maybe even for the rest of the season, is going to be rebounding. It's playing with a smaller lineup. Sabonis has been really, really great inside, but collectively rebounding as a team to keep Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson and all these guys off the boards, that's going to be very important. Continue to stay hot from three. And I think they need to find a way to get easy baskets. We didn't really talk about it much in this game, but the difference between transition points scored in today's game versus against Milwaukee, big difference. Bunch of fast break points, a bunch of points off turnovers. The Kings found a way to get some easier looks at the basket. So keeping that going with transition baskets, finding a way to contain Julius Randle and rebounding are my keys to this game.
Tom says Kings 110-99. Book it. This team is different. That'd be great, Tom. Another team held below 100 points. I would definitely love to see that. That would be absolutely great. Also, shout out to Coach G. Definitely a math teacher
Shout
G
out.
for me, actually. But hey, I only got one key for this game, Calvin. You already know what it is. And that's the Kings need to score more points than the Knicks. That is definitely my key to this game. And something that, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I like it. The Kings are rolling. I'm feeling good. I'm going to be loose on Sunday. I'm going to be having fun. So I love it, man. It's going to be fun, dude. I hope we beam all over New York City. I'm going to say that. I hope we beam that place apart, dude. Aim the beam at MSG. Have you ever been to MSG?
I have not been inside MSG.
That place is old, man. It is so old. I had a great time when I visited there a few years ago. I got to see the Knicks take on the Nets. It was a really exciting game. Obviously excited to be in the city and excited to be around, the atmosphere because it's the mecca of basketball. But that place is old, man. It is so old. Honestly, I don't think the wiring on that facility could even work a beam, especially not a 4,000 watt beam. But the place was old, but they had cheap big beers, so that was really cool. And Calvin, I actually got to see some snow when I was there. I was walking around. It was melting as soon as it hit the ground, but that's the only snow I've seen in like 13 years, which is pretty incredible. I'm not as lucky as you, Calvin.
Well, it's only lucky some of the times. If you've ever had to spend 2 hours digging your car out of the snow because the snow plow boxed you in, or if you've ever went to start your car and it was so cold that the key broke off in the ignition, you don't think snow is very fun in those moments.
Ouch. That does not sound cool at all. So we both agreed here that the Kings are going to beat the Knicks on Sunday. We got over 50 likes on this video, so we can guarantee that win, which is great. Then we take on the 76ers, the Raptors, and then we end this trip on a very positive note, right? We get to see Marvin Bagley's dad again and shut him up. Any other thoughts, Calvin? Obviously, we're going to go over these other 3 games before they happen, but any other thoughts on, what the Kings need to focus on, how to kind of close out the rest of this road trip? Obviously, they're 1-1 right now. We were really concerned when this road trip started because, it was really tough. There's a lot of really good basketball teams here, and we weren't sure where the Kings were going to be, right? We both looked at each other and we said, you know what, this is a good road trip because this is a real test. At the end of this road trip, this is going to tell us whether this Kings team is legit or not. We're 2 games in. They split them. They're 1-1. And they lost by 13 to the Bucks, but they weren't blown out in that game. I thought they were extremely competitive, and then obviously won tonight. So any words of advice for the last 4 games of this road trip for the Kings?
I think and I have full confidence because of Mike Brown being the head coach of this team and his experience in the NBA with the teams that he's been around, keeping the right type of mindset, to finish this road trip strong. You start off with these 2 games against probably the 2 best teams you're going to play on this road trip. Not to say that Toronto or New York or Philadelphia aren't good teams. They are, but Milwaukee and Cleveland are, a cut above. And they've played really hard-fought games in both of those games, lost one in the 4th quarter and grinded out a win in this game. So being able to keep that same mentality strong, to go through, especially if you have to play some more close games, keeping your minds right and, making sure, again, talking like we did after the Milwaukee game about making sure you get enough rest, taking care of your body, all of that stuff, so that you are mentally prepared and ready to deal with whatever comes ahead for these next 4 games. Because when you start off at that peak level, you can lose some of that sustained energy over time. So I would be watching for that for sure. Yeah,
great point. The world's watching now, Sacramento. The world is watching. What are you going to do, right? Let's close out this trip strong. And let's prove that we're legit. We're here. We're here to stay. We're a playoff team this year. The ball is in our court, and that's all we could really ask for. So that wraps up that. Let's end the show on some questions. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, riddles, jokes, go ahead and drop them here in the chat, and we'll definitely go over those before we end the stream here. Callum says nearly halfway to the preseason projection of 31.5 wins.
Yep.
Crazy. We're not even at the All-Star break, and we're basically halfway there, which is huge. I absolutely love that. That is great. PK says we're top 6 in the West. Yes or no by the end of the season, Calvin? What do you think? Are you cutting your hair or what?
Well, 6, I can say 6 and keep my hair. That sounds pretty good to me. No, look, I still think that there's a ton of good teams, and I think there's going to be a big-time race for seeding across the board from 1 to 10 coming down the stretch here. There's going to be a ton of competition. The Kings are good enough to finish 6 or better, I will say that. But, depending on the schedule, health, all of that stuff, factors that are unseen, I could see them really anywhere from like 5th to 8th, honestly. So
that'd be so cool, man. I mean, just to think about we're all like, oh, we don't need to make the playoffs. We're trying to make the play in, right? We want to make the play in. And then if we're able to get 6 or 5, we don't even have to play the play in. Like, we're in already, which would be absolutely wonderful. That would be so great. Guys, if the Kings make the playoffs, you guys better be ready in Sacramento, because Calvin and I are coming to town. We're going to try and come before that, but playoffs, we're definitely coming to town.
You guys might not recognize me, man. I might have a lot less hair by the time we make it there, but we'll be there.
We're going to have fun. We're going to turn it out. So make sure you guys rest your livers while you can. Lydia says, Calvin, did you surf in Hawaii?
Well, I still currently live in Hawaii. I have only surfed like 4 or 5 times though in my life. It was just never something that I really kind of got into. I actually had a pretty rough first experience with it, and then didn't really care to do much of it afterwards. But I do like to snorkel, and Barry has surfed a ton of times, right?
I wouldn't say a ton of times, but I've gone a decent amount of times. I really like stand-up paddleboard a little bit better. It's more fun because I do have some shoulder issues, and the paddling definitely bothers me after a while. But Calvin, I mean, I love snorkeling. I love free diving. I love doing all that stuff. But honestly, dude, I'm staying out of the water for a little bit. You heard about the shark attack yesterday?
I did hear about it.
That is wild.
Rough.
That is absolutely wild. I feel so bad for them, man, for that poor lady and her family. It's really, really sad. In Kihei yesterday, this couple ran into a really, really big tiger shark. The husband got out of the water. The wife did not, and they suspended the search today. So they have not found her. It was a really, really sad situation. But yeah, I mean, now is the time where, they're having little sharks, and they're hungry. So I wonder if what's going on with the volcano on the Big Island has any impact on sharks coming over more to like Wailea,
that's a good point.
Kihei area, something like that. But I'm gonna have to hold off on my shark jokes for a couple days, because that's a brutal.
I thought that's where you were going for a second, and I was like, oh man, too soon.
No, that's brutal. That's brutal. Calvin, any thoughts on, I see some people here saying, the team they're most worried about in this road trip is the Sixers. We haven't seen Jokic yet. We haven't seen Embiid yet. Those are probably two of the best like bigs in the NBA, right? We've been talking about small ball, stuff like that. Do you see, obviously those guys are going to have a huge impact on the game, and there's somebody you got a game for, but you have any concerns against playing against a guy like Embiid with such a small Kings team?
Oh man, I don't care if you have a big team. How could you not have concerns playing against Joel Embiid? That dude he's a cheat code, man. I mean, he's one of the most talented big men I've ever seen play. Seriously. There are very, very few people his size who can do what he can do. He's a problem for everybody and every team in the NBA. I would definitely be worried going up against him.
Lane says I need to make a shirt that says keys to the game, and it's got nothing under it. Shout out to Lane. I think that'd be a great shirt. Definitely would be.
It's got nothing under it.
You guys seen Nerlens Noel on the trade block? I'm a big Nerlens fan. I watched Nerlens in college before he hurt his knee. I thought the dude was gonna be a great NBA player, and he's actually turned into a pretty productive player. Is a rim protector. I'd be interested in maybe a Nerlens Noel Rashawn Holmes swap. I don't know how much Nerlens makes right now, but that's an interesting deal. I might be open to that. Nate says new name for Fox and Monk duo, the FM show. If you haven't been paying attention to the Sacramento Kings YouTube channel, they put out a new episode with Fox and Monk and talking about their friendship and all that. So definitely go check that out. Phoenix, haven't seen you in a while, Phoenix. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining in. Appreciate you. You were very wrong about the Kings. Yes, you were. And I'm happy you are here to, what do they say when you go to church on Sundays? Tell them about your sins. What is it called? I don't know. I don't go to church, Calvin. Do you know what the proper confess your sins? I guess that's what it is.
Oh, man, you're putting me on the spot. I don't go to church either. Sorry.
Basketball is my
upsets
church.
Anybody, but yeah, basketball is the church.
Basketball is my church. All right. Monticello wants to know, who is your MVP so far? In Lane, thank you. Have a good night.
Well, again, Mike, is this for the whole league or is this just for the Kings? Because I'll give you
Cal.
both. If I'm going the whole league, it's Jason Tatum. If I'm going the Kings, it's Domantas Sabonis.
Jason Tatum, huh?
Jason Tatum.
Wow. Jim wants to know if you got Keegan for all rookie.
Yeah, if he keeps playing like this, he'll definitely make one of the all-rookie teams, for sure. I feel pretty confident about that.
All right. Jesus says, I grew up in both Vallejo and Sacramento. I'm sorry to hear that.
Mike, no offense to Luka. He's having a fantastic season and should definitely be in the conversation, get a ton of votes for it. But just the difference in team success. I mean, both guys are averaging over 30 points per game. Tatum's doing it for the best team in the league. He just shut down Devin Booker, who's also in the conversation for MVP early on in Phoenix. Man, I've got to go with Jason Tatum right now. That dude's he's on another level, just like Luka. But sorry, man, your Mavs aren't doing it for me. The team is not doing it.
Do I need to show him the standings? Hold on, let me pull up the standings here. Is he still here on the show? Mike's still here?
He's here.
Okay. Well, you see this this purple symbol right here, SAC, number 5. And then look at this ugly looking symbol, Dow. Dow is below SAC. So I think SAC is better than Dow. It's official. The Kings are better than Dallas. And maybe Marvin Bagley was a good trade, Calvin. Or sorry, a good draft pick, because we're better than Dallas right now. I mean, it feels good. Feels really good. Jim says, Barry, what would you do if we got the number 1 seed? That's an interesting question, Jim. It kind of reminds me of, like, what would you do for a Klondike bar? What would you want me to do, Jim, if the Kings got the number 1 seed? Because I'm open for suggestions. I'll do some crazy stuff. I'll do it. Don't make me do it. I'll do it.
Yes, Tom, we are both on the island of Maui. We live on the west side in Kaanapali, which is right near Lahaina, if you know where the geography of the island is. But, yeah, man, Pearl City's cool.
Yeah, Oahu. Mike, I am still in Hawaii. Yes, I am. F the ocean. I don't know if you feel like that, really. I mean, maybe. A lot. It's going in the chat, F the ocean. Oh, it's probably because of the shark talk.
The shark talk. Oh, yeah. I saw
That's
some
their home, man.
Sharknado comments.
Calvin is the guy you hang with because he is a chick magnet. You got the chick he don't want. LOL. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I could vouch for that.
Man.
We were... Calvin, we were bartending the Christmas party on Monday, and everyone just kept coming up to my bar and saying, who's that cute bartender downstairs? And I said, which one are you talking about? And yeah.
Yeah. You guys are going to get me in trouble here. So I appreciate the comments, but...
Dude, there's nothing wrong with being cute, Calvin. It's not your fault, dude. It's not your fault. Pretty soon people are going to say, you deserved it, right? You shouldn't have dressed that way, Calvin. You shouldn't have looked like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Also, reminder to everybody, if you have not entered in to win the trip with 50 Cent, I believe it's kings.com/VIP. You can enter in to win, I believe it's courtside tickets and like dinner or a tour with 50 Cent, a day of hanging out with him. So if you have not entered in, enter into that. And if you win, bring me along with you. That would be great. I'll pay for my ticket to fly in. Ninja Style says Jokic is better than Embiid. Calvin, we had this debate last year for a while. Any last words on that one?
Man, it's such a toss-up to me. They're both really, 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 really good. Jokic, I think Embiid's a better defender. Jokic is a better offensive player just because of what he can do distributing the ball. I'll take either one of them on my team. Sign me up for either one.
Yep. Lydia says repent is the word I was looking for. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And she says tiger sharks are the worst in human attacks. Yeah, tiger sharks are brutal. They're really, really aggressive. Luckily, we don't have them here.
Bull
but
sharks are pretty bad too.
Bull sharks are crazy because bull sharks can survive in fresh water and in salt water, and they can like swim all the way upstreams and bite people.
Yeah, they're nuts. They're the most aggressive, I think, too.
Yeah, absolutely wild. They are wild. Oh yeah, Brian goes to the same church as me, Church of the Beam. I agree with that. Moving on. Oh, Mike's talking about Luka. Dude, I'm so behind, man. I'm behind here. What do you think it takes for a guy like, oh, I think we just got a gold medal on Gran Turismo. Good to know. Dude, that means I got one left and I beat the game. That's awesome. Well, me and Ethan beat the game. He wouldn't leave the living room when I started the stream. He's like, I'm gonna get this gold medal. Anyways, what do you think it would take for a guy like Keegan Murray to win Rookie of the Year this season?
I think it would take him playing on a different team, honestly. Like, not that he's not good enough or can't put up those types of numbers, but he's just playing from too far behind against guys like Paolo Banchero. The ball is in a different position so much more. He's going to have way crazier numbers. Yes, the volume obviously doesn't translate. Keegan should be in the conversation, but he's just not going to get the same types of opportunities on this team. Yep. And I think if you asked him, he'd trade the playoffs for Rookie of the Year anyway. So
Exactly. He's just in a different position. Paulo, they can just give him the ball every single time and just say, okay, Let's see it. Let's do it. Let's get the rookie slump let's get everything. We want you to come in next year fresh and ready to go. Yep. So learn however you can.
Even Ben Mathurin, they look to him to score a ton on that team. So.
Yep, it's not the same thing for Keegan because they're trying to win at the same time while they develop him. That's just hard to do. I mean, you mentioned James Wiseman earlier in the stream here, right? Where the Warriors are like, hey, we lucked out. We got the number 2 overall pick. We took James Wiseman. I was really, really big on James Wiseman. I thought the dude was going to be incredible. But, they had to find the balance of winning and bringing along a young guy at the same time. Yes, bigs take a little bit longer to develop, so that definitely makes sense there. But yeah, it's tough to do, is to win and develop. And the Kings seem to be doing a fantastic job. So that is great. Neil reminded me the Beam is a place of worship on Google Earth and Google Maps.
That is
I
true.
saw that.
Good point,
That's great.
Neil.
That is great. That's great. A lot of laughs here. Hopefully they're laughing with us and not at us, Calvin. If they would laugh at us, that's fine too, as long as you hit the like button, I guess. Oh, now I got to the Pearl City finally. Dude, I get so behind in this chat. I just want everyone to feel like they belong. I want everyone to feel like I read their comment and I responded to them. So I do get a little behind, but it's because I care about you guys. Ninja Style. Who would you guys like to see get Victor Wembanyama? I'll go first. Sacramento Kings. What about you, Cal?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely would love to see him on the Kings. I'm excited to watch him no matter what team he plays for. That guy's going to be really entertaining for sure. I'll tell you this. I'm excited to see maybe but if the Magic don't end up with the number 1 pick again, I'm excited for the first Bull Victor Wembanyama matchup against each other. That is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I actually, if I were to root for any team to get Victor, I'm kind of like Ninja Style. I want him to go to the East. But from a basketball fan perspective, I'm gonna take my Kings hat off for a second, and I'm just gonna pretend like I'm a basketball fan. I think it'd be really cool if the Thunder got him. I really would. SGA has been having such an incredible season. It's really a bummer what happened to Chet Holmgren, so it'd be exciting to see him come back. Can you imagine a pairing of Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama inside?
That team
Those
could
guys
be really scary,
do
really
everything
fast.
They can all shoot. They can protect the rim. Then you got guys like Lou Dort, Josh Giddey, and like 1,000 other
first-round. They have money to spend too,
draft picks
and
that they
tons
have.
of draft picks.
So that team
would be really interesting.
Would be really, really exciting, and also would probably be very, very tough competition for the Sacramento Kings. So I'm gonna put my Kings hat back on here, and I'm gonna say I hope that doesn't happen. Lee, good to see you. What's up? Good win. Light the beam. How you like the chain they gave Domas? Bling bling. Yeah, Lee, they've been watching the stream, man. They're copying Calvin and his chain. I like it. I like it a lot. Hopefully Sabonis doesn't have a sore neck on Sunday from wearing that chain around all weekend. Shout out to Matthew here. Matthew says, Calvin, you need an ugly hairstyle to balance it out. I couldn't agree more. That's why I'm hoping the Kings get a 5th seed and I can shave Calvin's head on the stream.
Yes, there we go. That'll be the equalizer.
Dude, you know what we should do is I want to all right, I'm going to take my Kings hat off for a second. I want to shave this area first for you. So you got the whole thing still chilling around. Maybe I'll cut the sides down to maybe a 5 for you, and then I'll just shave out this whole big center part.
Man, this is becoming quite the ordeal here. But hey, if it means the Kings are in fifth place or better by the end of the year, I guess it's worth it. The hair will grow back, right?
Yeah, it'll grow back, dude. I would love to see you at a playoff game like that. That'd be absolutely great. That'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. That'd be so cool. Charlie says, would love to see the Jazz get Victor. That'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool. Can we get Calvin a page boy haircut? What's a page boy haircut? You know what that is?
I don't know what that is. I'm afraid to ask.
I'm gonna Google it. Page boy haircut. Ooh, I kind of like this, Calvin.
Oh wow. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Ninja, the skullet. Yeah, I like the skullet. It would be cool. Well, I don't know, dude. This is kind of cool. It looks like a weird looking bowl cut, kind of. Interesting. I like it. I
looks
like it.
We've got a winner. Everybody's congratulations, Matthew.
When we get closer, I think what we do, Calvin, is when we get closer, we'll do a poll. We'll poll everybody. They can all decide on what your haircut will be. Then we'll take you to my buddy, and we'll get you all styled up for the stream. You'll be rocking that haircut for the stream, and then at the end of the stream, I'll buzz it off, and I'll give you something else fun. I want to make this into a multi-day experience. This has got to just keep going. It's got to keep going. Yeah, the reverse fire tuck, aka the toilet seat, dude. Charlie coming in hot, dude. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. Anyways, Calvin, I think that pretty much wraps us up. I've been talking for a while here. Anything else that you want to talk about other than the Kings winning games? Actually, sorry, I got one more thing here.
The Kings won, yeah. Oh yeah, the Kings won, yeah. The Sacramento Kings, oh yeah, the Kings won, yeah. Fox is so fast, Sabonis is so strong, yeah. Coach Mike is so smart, yeah. They are the playoff bound, yeah.
Any last words
Music
for
to my ears.
All your favorite Kings fans out there, Calvin?
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for watching. And man, thanks for everybody's in a good mood, right? We're watching this team win.
Hell yeah.
It's playoff time.
Hell
Not yet,
yeah.
but it will be in Sacramento. I can't wait to be in Sacramento during the playoffs for the Kings. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Big time year.
Yep.
Man.
Well, hey, that ends
Shout
us
out everybody.
for the night.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you all so much. Please don't forget to smash up that like button, hit that subscribe button. We will see you all on Sunday after the game. We'll be live right after, so make sure you're here right after. The bouncer is going to be giving people late receipts. What do they call it if you're late? Like a ticket or write up. You'll be getting a write up if you're late. So make sure you guys are here on time. I'm talking to you, Bouncer. You got to be on time also. Thank you so much, Bouncer. Appreciate you so much. T, good to see you. Neil, Mike, Matthew. Thank you guys. Lydia, you guys are all awesome. Nikki, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night. And in the meantime, go Kings.